Welcome to Fantastic Vision. Please subscribe us before you watch today's video. In recent years, the global semiconductor industry has undergone many changes, and the most eye-catching one is the US sanctions and suppression of China in the semiconductor field. The United States not only restricts its own companies from exporting advanced technology and equipment to China, but also tries its best to prevent companies in other countries and regions from conducting normal trade with China. This all-round suppression strategy has not only brought huge losses to related companies, but also profoundly affected the pattern of the global semiconductor industry. Recently, the news of two pieces of news has caught the lithography giant ASML and the wafer foundry giant TSMC by surprise. The situation of chip restrictions seems to be changing suddenly. The first piece of news focuses on ASML. As the world's leading lithography manufacturer, ASML plays a pivotal role in the semiconductor industry chain. However, Reuters, a US media outlet, recently reported that US hardline lawmakers sent a strong signal to the world's top 5 semiconductor equipment manufacturers, asking them to provide detailed sales data in the Chinese market. These manufacturers include Applied Materials, Lam Research, and KLA Tenka in the United States, ASML in the Netherlands, and Tokyo Electron in Japan. This request is obviously in preparation for legislation. Once the United States decides to ban the export of semiconductor equipment containing US technology to China, most semiconductor equipment will be restricted, and the losses of related companies will be incalculable. For ASML, the importance of the Chinese market is self-evident. Over the years, ASML has gained a significant share in the Chinese market, with its leading position in the field of lithography machines. However, with the increase in US sanctions, ASML has to face a dilemma: either give up the Chinese market, or continue to supply at the risk of violating US regulations. This dilemma not only tests ASML's business wisdom, but also highlights the complex situation facing the current global semiconductor industry. The second piece of news is closely related to TSMC. As the world's largest wafer foundry, TSMC's position in the semiconductor industry chain is also very important. However, recently, Reuters, a US media, quoted informed sources as saying that the United States has asked TSMC to stop shipping advanced chips for artificial intelligence applications to mainland customers, especially chips with a process of 7 nanometers and below. This news is undoubtedly a heavy blow to TSMC, because mainland customers account for a certain proportion of its revenue, although this proportion is declining. According to reports, TSMC has sent a formal email to mainland AI chip customers, announcing that it will stop providing advanced process foundry services. Although both the US Department of Commerce and TSMC declined to comment on the news, TSMC made it clear in its reply that it is a law-abiding company and is committed to complying with all applicable rules and regulations, including export controls. This statement is undoubtedly a gesture of goodwill to the United States in order to maintain its cooperative relationship with the United States under increasingly severe circumstances. However, it is not easy for TSMC to cut off supply to mainland customers. Although the proportion of mainland customers in its revenue has dropped to 11%, this market still has huge potential. At the same time, with the continuous development of the global semiconductor industry, the importance of the Chinese market is also increasing. Therefore, TSMC must act cautiously in cutting off supply to mainland customers, so as not to lose the big for the small. It is worth noting that TSMC's current situation is closely related to changes in US policies. In recent years, the United States has been promoting the repatriation of the semiconductor industry, hoping to transfer more chip manufacturing capabilities to the United States. To this end, the United States has not only provided a lot of financial support and tax incentives, but also forced companies in other countries to abandon the Chinese market through sanctions and suppression. In this context, TSMC has to reassess its position and role in the global semiconductor industry, as well as its relationship with the Chinese market. For ASML and TSMC, the current situation is undoubtedly full of challenges and uncertainties. On the one hand, they need to face the sanctions and suppression of the United States to ensure their compliance operations. On the other hand, they also need to find new markets and partners around the world to cope with increasingly fierce competition and the changing industrial landscape. In this context, semiconductor giants began to tread on thin ice to cope with uncontrollable situations. They have to strengthen technological research and development and innovation to improve the performance and competitiveness of their products. At the same time, they also need to strengthen communication and cooperation with relevant institutions to strive for more policy support and market opportunities. Only in this way can they remain invincible in the increasingly complex semiconductor industry. However, for the entire semiconductor industry, the current situation is also full of opportunities and hope. On the one hand, with the continuous development of global digitalization and intelligence, the demand for the semiconductor industry will continue to grow. On the other hand, with the continuous emergence of new technologies and the continuous expansion of application scenarios, the semiconductor industry will usher in more development opportunities and market space. Therefore, despite the current severe situation, semiconductor giants still need to maintain confidence and determination, actively respond to challenges and opportunities, and jointly promote the sustained and healthy development of the global semiconductor industry. In summary, the sudden change in chip restrictions has brought unprecedented challenges and opportunities to semiconductor giants, such as ASML and TSMC. They need to actively find new markets and partners while responding to US sanctions and suppression. At the same time, they also need to strengthen technological research and development and innovation to improve product performance and competitiveness. Only in this way can they remain invincible in the increasingly fierce competition and jointly promote the sustained and healthy development of the global semiconductor industry.